was good with you? Back in black with another Enlisted video. If you guys are new to the channel and you love shooting games just like me, make sure you aim for that like button and shoot that subscribe button as well. It'll help you find better teammates and improve your skill-based matchmaking. For those who don't know or cannot tell from the obvious, paratroopers are members of the military trained in airborne deployment for military operations. Usually seen as an elite unit, these troopers specialize in surprise attacks from behind enemy lines, and they are usually used to seize key objectives like bridges and airfields. As far as their effectiveness in real world, real life for lack of better words, or as it pertains to World War II, I would say that they are pretty hit or miss with operations, having great success like Operation Overlord in France, and then we have your notorious failures like, the Operation in Crete from the German paratroopers on the other hand. And we also have Market Garden, which I don't know if you would necessarily consider that a failure, but I'm sure in the general scheme of things as World War II went, Market Garden wasn't necessarily a success either. So do with that information what you will. Regardless of how they performed in real life, what I mostly wanted to focus on was the strategy and how to utilize these squads in Enlisted, since they have recently been added with this new event and this new update, which honestly the paratroopers are way more unique than I initially thought they were going to be when they were first announced. So let's go ahead and get into that. I do want to preface this evaluation by mentioning that I did not purchase that premium airborne squad that became available with this update. Reason being is because it costs $60 to $70, which, if I'm being quite frank, is the equivalent of an entirely new AAA game. So when I'm just thinking about the value, compared to what I'm actually getting, I just don't see the worth being there for me. And unless you just got money to blow, more power to you, but I would encourage most, if not everybody, to take the free route of trying out these airborne squads, which is basically just playing this new event that has been presented to us. You only need 12,000 battle points per day, which for anybody who's decent should take about 2 to 5 games max, depending on your skill level, of course, and the match duration, because sometimes if your match is only 10 minutes or whatever the case may be, you're going to have to play a few more, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And of course it resets every day, which is kind of inconvenient, but I guess it's less than 15,000, which they were asking for the last event, so gotta take the good with the bad. Neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and start talking about the pros and the cons of these airborne squads. At this point, I have unlocked the Japanese and the American version of these presented in the event, so I will try to use both of these opinions, taking both squads into account, because one comes with bolt action rifles and the other comes with semi-automatics, so that might be a bit of an advantage for one versus the other. So as far as the pros are concerned, there are a numerous amount. Again, a lot more than I initially gave them credit for when they were first announced, because I guess at first glance I thought like, oh, they could just deploy from the sky. What else is there that's cool and new about them? But there is a little bit of a twist to it, if you will. So obviously deploying from the air to any location you want on the map is a really good advantage in itself, because you can obviously get off some really good flanks and put down some really sneaky rally points from angles that the enemy generally would not expect unless they were already paying attention to the sky. But if your other squad mates on the ground are doing a good job, then you actually do have the element of surprise to your advantage. So that being said, yes, you can deploy from the air any location on the map. That's great, but you also get this supply box that falls out of the plane as well. And the neat thing about this is that it comes equipped with 4 options as far as the equipment that you can get out of it, and that is, you can get mortar squad, you can get anti-tank squad, you can get quote-unquote assault squad that comes with machine guns, and you can get a sniper squad that comes with sniper rifles if you kind of want to hang back. That being said, you are basically very adaptable when it comes to basically what you want to do with this squad, and I think that's the biggest advantage in my personal opinion with this airborne deployment squad that basically wasn't flaunted as the forefront of the benefit for using the squad. Yes, you can deploy anywhere on the map, but I think the real advantage is that you can kind of can kind of choose whatever you want this squad to be depending on the situation, and that adaptability on the fly, in itself makes this an amazing squad, way more amazing than I initially thought it was going to be. Another pro that I wanted to mention about these airborne squads is that these planes that you deploy in on cannot be shot down either. Of course, they will have some atmospheric flak when you are looking out the I guess the plane door, just so it looks cooler, like you are being shot at, or you have the danger of being shot down, quote unquote. But yes, these planes are indeed indestructible, and I kind of like that because if it was possible for your plane to be shot down, generally speaking, before you even hit the ground, I feel like that would dissuade a lot of people from purchasing or earning these airborne squads at all. So that being said, I think that was a pretty good gameplay decision on their part, and I do want to applaud them for thinking ahead on that front. I mean, I guess when it comes to making money, they're always going to make the best decision for that, so that's cool. But the other thing that I wanted to mention as another pro, I guess a tertiary kind of thing, is that you are also not relegated to having to deploy from the air either. If you want to, at the bottom of the deploy screen, you can select a little button that will let you deploy on the ground like a regular squad as well. So if you are in a dire situation where you need to reinforce the point as fast as possible, then again, you don't necessarily have to wait for that whole sequence of deploying from the plane. So that is also very nice as well as a pro. And as abundant as the pros are for these airborne squads, I actually do have a few complaints that I came up with as well. It's not like anything that's like a deal breaker as to whether you should use this squad or not, because I do think I will be making this a regular part of my squad rotation. But again, it's something that I noticed, and it is kind of annoying, so I do want to talk about it and see what you guys think as well. So my first complaint with these squads is that you cannot adjust the presets at all. You basically get that anti-tank, you get the sniper, you get the machine gun, and then you get the mortar squad, and you cannot swap these out at all with any other type of squad. So it's kind of like they just chose for us what they think we wanted to get, and we have no customization options whatsoever. What if I wanted to drop down and I wanted to be a medic squad to increase my airborne squad's survivability? Or what if I wanted to drop down and be a radio man squad so I could call in artillery strikes from a better angle? Things like that would go a long way, in my personal opinion, as far as making the airborne squad better. Maybe it's something that they could look at in the future, but I think being able to swap those presets out, like maybe, because I don't think anybody really uses the airborne squad and thinks like, oh, I'm about to choose the sniper, unless they're in this instance where they, like right now what you're looking at on the screen where I land on the roof, maybe right here it would have been a good time to choose the sniper squad, which I actually tried to, but the way they redid the radio screen for the controller console players is so dumb. I don't like it. It's like I'll try to move my analog stick to choose one, and then it'll make me choose the other one. So it's that's whatever. That's another story for another day. But I mean, the sniper squad is definitely the least useful out of the presets in this airborne thing that you can get, so that's kind of annoying to me, and I just feel like we should have the ability or the option to swap that out for a different type of squad if we wanted to. If you're going to give us 4 to choose from anyways, it's like, let us maybe swap one out for another one. I don't know, that's just something that I thought about. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, of course. The other complaint that I had is that if you do choose to deploy from the ground like a regular squad, and again, I would only recommend this if you're in a dire situation, but again, if you do see a rally point and you want to spawn on that instead, you unfortunately will not get the equipment box. So you will basically spawn in as a regular airborne squad. Whatever weapons your squad is supposed to have by default, that is it, which is kind of unfortunate because that's kind of the biggest draw or the main pull for using this airborne squad. So it's like, not only am I not deploying from the air, I am also not getting the equipment box as well. So it's kind of like, yeah, it might be for the greater good of the team to deploy on a rally point, but you're really decentivized from doing so. So I think maybe if we do spawn on a rally point, we should still be able to get that box and choose a preset. But that is also just my personal opinion. I do want to hear what you guys think down in the comment section below. And yeah, that's really it for my complaints, or I guess the cons you could say, as far as this squad is concerned. I unlocked the Japanese and the Americans for the event, like I said earlier, and I do want to do a quick little comparison. I mean, It's the same thing, generally speaking, for the factions as far as, Japan and America is concerned. Since the Japanese, get the bolt action rifles, I don't think bolt action rifles are bad by any means. You might think so because the Americans get the M1A1 carbine, which is a semi-auto and still a really good gun. But if you know how to play to the advantage of, the advantages of the weapon that you have, at your disposal, you will see that Type 100 is actually not half bad, especially when it comes to like picking people off at a distance. Which again brings me back to my previous point. If you're going to spawn me with a bolt action rifle that is already good at long range combat, why would I want to go to my equipment box and choose a sniper squad preset that gives me a long range bolt action rifle and then gives me another bolt action rifle with a scope on it? It's like, it's counterproductive almost in a sense, which again makes me think like we should be able to choose our presets. But that's pretty much it. Good event, good implementation into the game. I am enjoying this airborne squad a lot more than I thought I was going to. I kind of wrote them off as being like just another throwaway addition to the game, but these guys actually have some really good utility, so much so that again I do plan on putting them into my regular rotation of squad use. More so I think I'm going to swap out like either my assaulters or my machine gunners, I'm not sure, but yeah, these guys are definitely going to be a mainstay for me. So that being said, I do want to know what you guys think about the airborne squads. Have you unlocked them, both of them, yet already? Have you used them? What do you think? Are you going to use them regularly now? Yeah, let me know all that good stuff down in the comment section. I do appreciate you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Black Guy out.